So here we are, IEM in San Jose, Season 10, the first time CSGO has been part of the Intel Extreme Masters, this being the biggest North American CSGO event so far. And I say so far because it's been amazing. 2 days of competition. We have seen great matches, we've seen amazing frags, we've seen almost clutches, we've seen a North American team almost make it to the final. So I say so far because it's gonna happen again. The crowd has been amazing as we get to the final. So then let's bring out the two teams who are gonna fight it out. If you were gonna say who were the two favorites coming in, you possibly would have chosen these two teams. So far, both of them have struggled at times, but they have been as amazing as we know they can be, which sets us up for possibly one of the best finals we have seen for some time. So, please welcome to the stage, TSM and Navi! So as the teams enter the stage, I feel like a pawn in the middle. Let's talk to Karrigan first. How confident are you feeling ahead of this final?
I think it's going to be a hard matchup. I think we've proven through the tournament that we have some skeletons in our back, so we need to play very good and be very confident to be able to win today.
It might seem like a silly question, but how much do you want this?
I really want to win really much. It felt like a long time since we won a tournament. I think it was a PGL last time, so definitely want to win again here in the US for the first time in our life.
You say you want to win it. You said it's been a while since you won a tournament. Do you think if you win this, it might stop some of the chatter about where you are as a team and the fact that when you come in as a favorite, you don't tend to win things?
I think we'll definitely want to prove ourselves here in the US and in front of being a favorite, we're able to win also the whole tournament. So of course we want to win very badly.
Thank you very much. If there was an award so far for the most laid-back and possibly depressed man, that would be you. But you've made it to the final. How ready for this are you?
I'm ready 100%, so yeah, I feel great. It feels great to play finals against TSM because that's probably top 3 team for me. And playing them is quite, I mean, it's easier to play them than NBS, so I'm looking forward. And the team with most mistakes will lose.
And what do you want to say to Karrigan ahead of this match? Anything you want to say to him?
Good luck.
And it seems only fair to ask Karrigan, anything you want to say to the man to my right?
Good luck.
There we go. Please rejoin your teams. They've shaken hands. The trophy is ready. This Q-Boy, the winner of San Jose, Intel Extreme Masters, they will win this $125,000 prize pool. So, are we ready for the final? We're ready for the final, so let's hand over to our casters on the analyst desk. Alex Machine Richards.
Thank you, OJ. I was expecting something horrible, so that was very kind of you to hand us over to the desk quite tamely. I'm Alex Machine Richardson, as he said, and I'm joined by a boy band of Counter-Strike representatives. I have Maniac, Sean has appeared, and Henry G. They're going to be dropping their first album sometime next year. It's going to be a cute one. But we have got a big final to talk about, boys. This is going to be spectacular, and I think the first point is going to be, hello, Sean. How you doing, man?
Doing well, been better. Would have liked to have been in the final, but we got 2 awesome teams here. Styles gonna clash. It's gonna be awesome.
Got a good feeling coming into this one. TSM, of course, up against Navi. I think we're gonna just kind of have to start at the very beginning and just talk about the roots here. So let's remind ourselves. Henry, of course, we saw TSM's rise through the ranks quite quickly.
Yeah.
At the start of this tournament.
Yeah, TSM have looked pretty strong. They've had some ups and downs here. Obviously, the last map dropped a couple of times. Been looking at the other side of the table as well. Navi looked like they were actually struggling a little bit against Liquid there. That Dust 2 game should have been Liquid's map, it has to be said. You remember that 3-on-1 situation they actually lost there? That was actually really exciting. Could have gone either way. Both teams have had their ups and downs here. They've made it to the final. All comes down to this. Everything's been reset. We have to remember it's a best of 3. The interesting thing about this, though, is that these teams have such big map pools across the board. It's going to be really exciting to see how this one goes down and where we actually end up with it.
Yeah, I mean, the maps are, how much of a factor are the maps going to play into this final? Everyone's already said TSM have got quite a deep map pool. The same has been said for Navi as well. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before we came on the desk, and both teams have a very similar map pool. They both aren't very interested in playing cash. TSM will not play Cobble, so we know that their veto is going to be Cobble. Navi's a bit of a wild card when it comes to their veto. We have no idea what they want to play. Both teams, I mean, they like playing Mirage, Inferno, Dust 2, Overpass. So could be anything.
Yeah, same kind of thoughts for you, Matthew. It's like the battleground doesn't matter. It's just who turns up, or do you think there is going to be some science to this map veto?
Yeah, well, because of the fact that both teams appreciate the same maps, I would say that the veto is not going to be that much important comparing to maybe other matchup today. So it's going to come down to the pure talent on the server.
What were you saying about Cobble, Sean? Because I've just heard the vetoes. Were you saying we weren't going to see Cobble?
Well, no, TSM's go-to ban is Cobble, every time. The same goes for Cash with Navi. Go on, save us the suspense, Alex.
It's over there on the magical screen. TSM chose Dust 2, Navi got Cobble, and Overpass is the third map.
Well, that's a big slip up right there for TSM.
Okay, let's talk that through. Why is that such a mistake?
Okay, because TSM historically has not been a very good Cobble team, and it's often their insta-ban when it comes to their top teams they play. They banned it against us. I think they banned it against G2 also, if I remember correctly. Usually banned it against Fnatic whenever they play Fnatic. Fnatic's a great Cobble team. They'll ban it against Virtus Pro. And they don't really play Navi much, so they don't really understand how good Navi is on Cobble, but they are one of the best teams in the world on the map.
I'm trying to work out what their veto was then. I'm guessing, was it Cash? For TSM, they've been pretty bad on that map throughout this tournament. It's been one of the ones they struggle on the T side especially. So maybe that's the option they went for. But that's interesting because Navi's go-to ban, like I said before,
it's always
Cash.
Yeah. Do you actually know what map they ban?
I would love to know.
That would be great information.
Would be, I mean, 10 out of 10.
That's a point for conversation there, but we don't know. So we're going to speculate. For now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll continue to speculate, but I mean, we can kind of talk a little bit more about this map as an overview. I mean, excuse me, as these two teams as an overview. TSM, they've had this kind of innate problem recently, and I'd love to know, just Sean, while I have the opportunity to talk to you about it, what's your take on this whole TSM choke Natas, whatever, that's been following them for so long, the monkey on their back?
Yeah, I think they've just had some unlucky matchups in big tournaments. NIP has always had TSM's number. Even during that hot streak online they had going into the major where they won 22 matches in a row or something like that. NIP was the team that brought them down, which is crazy for a lot of people to envision, but it's just, they have some mental block when it comes to playing NIP. And I do think it's a lot to do with how NIP plays CS, and that's why I think TSM is going to struggle in this finals. They play a very slow, methodical game, very similar to how Navi plays. So Navi's slow defaults on both Cobble and Dust 2, which are great default maps. Teams that run slow strats bleed out your grenades from the CT side, and they basically hit your sights just slowly, picking you apart. And it's going to be interesting to see how TSM reacts right now in the finals.
Yeah, I think Dust 2 is going to set the scene quite nicely, actually. I consider TSM to have one of the best CTs in the entire planet, on Dust 2 especially. But the fact is, coming into this one, Guardian very pivotal on these kind of maps. This is his playground, famously. They struggled against Liquid. Obviously, TSM got to watch that game, got to see some of the problems there. It came right down to the wire. They came to the 30th round, and Navi having to come back from a 9-round deficit to get back into it. Yeah. Well, whether TSM can take advantage of that is yet to be seen, but it's going to kick off.
Navi must be on a high after that comeback. I mean, yes, Liquid may have slipped and stumbled, but it takes so much fortitude to be able to climb back from a deficit like that. And let's talk a little bit more about that Navi roster as we do throw that on your screens. Guardian has been kind of this dead horse we've been continuing to beat about how important he is. Who else stands out to you, Matthew, when it comes to a roster like this?
Well, quite clearly, this event has been Edward. Very impressive. I mean, I've been the one saying that comparing to the old times of CSGO, he was a little bit slacking, but that Dust 2 play was crazy. I mean, that's not the only map in which he was actually very good. I think this tournament he's been very great, and if he keeps on doing so, that might be very dangerous for TSM.
Flamey had a couple of appearances.
Well, that's the thing on Cobble, especially. He really came to life. His rotations were on point. He's getting 2 or 3 frags every time he rotates to a bomb site. We call him out for being inconsistent, but today he's on form. If he can carry that on to the final, TSM are in a lot of trouble. They looked a little bit questionable today on Cash against G2. So both teams definitely coming through a struggle. They didn't have easy semi-finals today, but they both made it to the final. It depends who steps up today. I'll be interested to see who for Navi, who can continue the form. Guardian was stellar as usual, finding some very big frags there. Just wondering who's going to be stepping up for TSM today. Dupree and Device, always big members to fall back onto. Yeah.
Vital information has been acquired. We know who banned what. Okay. TSM banned Train and Mirage.
Right, okay.
So instead, in low of the ban onto Cobble, which you were expecting, and then over on Navi's side, you believe it or not, they banned Cash and Inferno.
I think that's fair enough for Navi. That makes complete sense for them. I was just wondering how Cobble got into the mix. That's going to be
trick up their sleeve.
This is the thing, right? This is the best of 3. If Navi take over Dust 2 and they win that one, I'm pretty sure that's game over at that stage. They're gonna roll over them on Cobble. I can only really speculate that. We haven't really seen TSM play Cobble in such a long time. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Maybe this is one of the maps they've been saving. Sean, have you any ideas as to why they may have gone down this route?
The only other time TSM has done something like this, I think they played Fnatic in a semifinal or final at a tournament, and they ended up playing Cobble, and everyone just awarded Fnatic the map before it started. And I think, if I remember correctly, Fnatic got less rounds than you can count on one hand. So TSM has been known to get a win or two on Cobble, but it's few and far between. But
actually, it's very strange. That means that TSM decided to play Cobblestone over Mirage, whereas they played it today and they had a very good showing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so this decision, this desk is obviously baffled by TSM's veto decision. We can talk about expectations then coming into this one. I would be intrigued to know. We'll just kind of work our way down. Matthew, you see this lineup on paper. Of course, Navi back into a grand final now, quite recently off their most recent appearance, grand final as well. You think they're in good form to take on arguably a top 2, top 3 team?
Well, I think that because of the map, because of the veto, I would favor Navi, maybe 2-1, just because this Cobblestone plays might be just the edge for Navi, actually, because on the other 2 maps, it's going to be pretty even, I guess. TSM and Navi both extremely good maps on Dust 2 and Overpass, is it?
Yeah, Overpass.
Overpass, yeah. I mean,
sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, 2 very good teams on those maps, and we all agree here that the Cobblestone is a risk for TSM, so maybe just what Navi needs to clutch it 2-1.
So, I mean, let's talk about their opponent. Let's put their roster up on your screens as well. TSM, the Danes, the Great Danes, who have got, I mean, they've got their work cut out for them then. We've seen the form Navi found up against Liquid. Let's talk about what TSM is bringing into the fray. A scary roster, of course, Carrigan at the helm. And I mean, everyone kind of batters on about the Dupree and Device combo. KGB and Zipnix, I mean, they cannot be overlooked.
No, absolutely not. Zipex is one of the most renowned support players in the game. Fantastic at clutching. He's proven that throughout his tournament. When he's the last man alive, even these 1-on-2 situations, he seems to find some sort of format at something every single time. It's like really impressive player to watch. Always can rely on him to come in and back up the team up. Cajun B as well, when he's on form, he can be incredibly scary. The great thing about this team is they've got so many different roles across the maps. It changes every time. It's not like they've got a dedicated AWPer. Carrigan can AWP, Cajun can AWP, Device can AWP. Like, just across the board, it's kind of nuts how they can kind of adjust for every single setup. And that's what makes this team so good. They're so versatile. Dupree and Device, that tag team, it does need to be spoken about because they're so strong together. Their entry potential, and they play bomb sites together. It's absolutely nuts. It's a real pleasure to watch them sometimes when they're actually kicking off. So hopefully that comes into fruition today and we have a really exciting final. Like, talking about predictions though, I'm trying to work out how this first map will go down. Dust 2, I have to give it towards TSM, just what I saw from Navi today. They looked kind of ropey until the last few rounds. So I'm going to say 2-1 in favor of Navi after losing Dust 2. I think
so, yeah,
it's going to be interesting though. It could go either way. Who knows?
Sure.
Yeah, I would go TSM on Dust 2 for sure. They have a very strong Dust 2. It reminds me a lot of how NACS plays Dust 2. Navi has a very slow, methodical Dust 2 where they play with rotations and the rotator in between A and middle. TSM likes to be hyper-aggressive and almost kind of guess where that rotator is going to be. Both teams really like getting long A control, so it's going to be really important for Zipix, and I'm trying to think who plays long A for it. Is it Flamey or is it... Yeah, I think...
On which map?
On Dust 2.
It's too long.
I can't remember. I actually passed it.
Well, whoever that is,
yeah.
It's going to be a battle for long.
Whoever plays long A for both teams is going to be a big player in this match. Both teams love getting long A control and abusing the A bomb site from there.
All right, so the desk has spoken. I really want to kind of dig a bit more into your thoughts on the whole sentiment that TSM is the best on Dust 2. Unfortunately, and fortunately, the game is about to go live. It's going to be a pleasure to introduce both your casting team, but also your first map of our grand final here at the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. We're going to take a quick one, and when we're back, it's going to be the TriCast. It's not a break. It's not a break. For the first time ever, we're going to go ahead and throw straight to the casters and dig our teeth into this grand final.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're all three here, and it's the grand finals at Intel Extreme Masters San Jose 2015. I'm Anders, and with me is Samuel and Mosen. It's a real pleasure, guys. What do you think? Who's going to win this? Just straight off the bat, I've got to ask you.
I'm actually pretty surprised, Anders. I was just waiting for the dig.
I was too.
I was just like crazy. I was okay. You'll get one. You get one. Okay, yeah. I'm thinking that they are all stumped on the desk about this cobblestone thing. But there was a team recently that had that ace map up their sleeve. It was Envy with Mirage when they had made the roster change, right? They kept it secret, they kept it secret, they kept letting it go into pick bans, letting it go, just hoping that somebody would pick it. Somebody did, and they got wrecked on it, right? So TSM on Cobblestone, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm taking TSM all the way in this one as well.
Yeah, buddy. But we're going to be starting on Dust 2 to begin on the first map, and we're right into the knife round as well, as you guys can see, so we'll see who gets to start on which side. Don't think it's going to be that huge of a difference depending, you know, on who gets what start. I mean, do you agree with that, Anders?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, at this point, we've got to point out as well how cool it is to see Dust 2 between these two teams. That's almost the perfect map to start with. It can't possibly get any more exciting than this.
No, you're exactly right. TSM is so incredibly good on this map for a long, long time. Na'Vi also showing really, really good stuff. They've been playing so well, and you know, we talk a lot about Guardian, and Guardian has carried them through a lot of stretches here, but towards the end, you know, in these semifinals, it's other players stepping up. Flamey had a good game. Edward's been a beast. Good to see him back on top form.
And that's always what we want to see as well, because I mean, obviously we talk a lot about Guardian on the analyst desk. We always mention the God Hopper, and it's good to see that, you know, it isn't all just resting on his shoulders every time, that in the clinch, his teammates can come through for him. They can help do some work. We're going to have the raid boss Edward right off the bat as well. Tech-9 Kevlar for him. A few nades picked up, and Guardian going to be using one of them. Interesting. Straight up short smoke.
All right, and normally that would indicate they're actually trying to go for some straight short control, but they're running down in lower dark instead. That's very cool here. And Cajun playing right at the edge. Device going to be in there. Instant headshot, but Edward, quick refrag there. He's got the armor. He's got the Tech-9. They're going to be out the middle, and this is going to be fast for Na'Vi. TSM, can they stop it? Cajun drops the bomb coming in from the back, and that's going to slow everything down, and that's a very bad sign for Na'Vi.
They're getting picked apart right now, Anders. Zeus gets caught out on the slope by Dupree. The bomb is making its way into Upper Dark now, and Flamey will find a headshot on Cajun, who just gets caught out in the open. So a 2-on-3 situation still, but TSM, they haven't lost control. They're still spread out. They haven't committed or over-rotated anywhere.
That's the thing, too. So is Na'Vi. Two players at different bomb sites. Guardian's going to try and find something, get spotted out along, but TSM, they've got all the intel now.
They know what's going on, and they don't. I mean, they spot Guardian, sure, but that's not the bomb. That hasn't given anything away. Guardian is going to get caught by Zipnix, and that's actually from slope, so it's all going to be on Flamey. Can he pull this off for his team to get that strong start here for Na'Vi in the first map?
I think right now the time is going to be a really big factor for him. He's going to have to move quick, I think, and get a first kill, and maybe try and see if he can get that bomb. If he's so slow, and actually it doesn't matter. Sip's going to take him out here for the double kill, and TSM spread out far, but they really didn't give themselves, or they didn't give up any targets there for the remaining Na'Vi players.
No, also Cajun B, that shot right there, he just makes a play. He uses that same smoke that Na'Vi used to push through lower B without getting touched. He jumps right through it, gets that quick flank, drops the bomb, and slows everything down. So then TSM has the opportunity to react to anything they see.
He took out Edward with that Kevlar Tech-9 combo as well. I mean, Edward hardly, I mean, he took Device, yes, but then after that, you really want to count on that guy to be your anchor in that pistol round with that investment made, and he really didn't get to do much. So nice start here for TSM. And look at how they aren't messing around either.
Yeah, I was going to say almost sort of a respect buy here for TSM. No SMGs or anything, no weird shotguns or scouts or something like that. We are playing on Dust 2 as well, and actually there's only one Deagle in play for Guardian, but I would have guessed that there would have been more. And in that case, you probably don't want to do long-range MP9 versus Deagle.
Yeah, also, it looks like they want to execute with smokes and flashes up catwalk, so why stay far back with the Deagles when you get close up with these Tech-9s?
You know, they want to apply the pressure quick. There's one man with it, but Zipnix on A-slope will find one. He gets a second as well. Headshot on Zeus. It's going to be down to Edward, Seized, and Guardian, and they're doing a little bit of damage, getting into a bit of a drawn-out fight. A man has dropped into CT, but he will get caught by Device, and now, just like that, Seized is the last man alive. Looking to try and turn it around. If he can find his kill, and he does on Dupree, he might have a chance. He's got the smoke to block off CT. But then
that'd be golden if he could get in and get that bomb down, but right now, I think he's playing for a bit of a miracle. If only they would cross through the smoke here, that would be exactly what he would want, but because they're waiting, he's got no chance at all. I think he was hoping, and I actually kind of like that play. I mean, if they'd crossed through to try and see if he would run into B, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah, he also didn't have really the health to kind of cross that smoke. I mean, that was the play he wanted to make, but without the health, he sees the bullet spamming through it, he takes one and he's gone. So all he really had left for him at that point was some kind of a miracle hero play, waiting for them to walk right into his crosshair. But nicely done from TSM. They've been seeing a lot of the force buys out of Na'Vi, and that's why they go with those full rifles. They don't even want to mess with the SMGs.
And I love to see the Guardian. He managed his money. He's sitting on 3,000 right now, so if he can just get a little bit of damage in here, he'll have that AWP going into the first fire round, and we put so much emphasis on him. It's going to be key. They're just getting wiped out Na'Vi over a long right now, but that was a hard eco on their part, so nothing lost. TSM, they get a big breather here. They have a lot of money going into this round.
That's the crucial point, because we've seen a lot of these matches where Guardian can't get that up going early on, and they kind of start to struggle into him. And he always gets it later on in the half, and he's pulled him back. You know, you think back to the Luminosity match in Overpass, earlier on Dust 2 here against Liquid. You know, his op is kind of that starting point, and he even gets a tag onto Dupree as he jumps over.
Oh, very nicely done so far. And Na'Vi, it'd be good if they could pick up this early round here once they have rifles and turn it around. Don't want to let TSM get too much of a foothold here. They are a godlike team on Dust 2, so if they get too much of a good CT side, it could get out of control just a little bit here. And Na'Vi going for a completely standard spread on this map so far. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, this is really them trying to build around Guardian. Just get some map control and then allow him to work the op. See if he can find somebody from TSM stepping out a bit too far. I mean, Cajun does have an aggressive hold, and what a spray transfer from Zeus. He takes out Cajun up close. Xyp9x does manage to get out of dodge, though, and he's going to be backing up onto the slope looking for the headshot. But then Kerrigan gets picked off. Zeus just doing so much work right now for Na'Vi.
Yeah, he's beasted this way and for his team into this bomb site. But look, the bomb is on Catwalk, so actually there's a small opportunity there where if C's was able to get picked off, that could have been trouble. But TSM already calling the save. They're just saying, we'll bring these guns into the next round. We didn't take too much damage in the eco, so those other two players should be able to buy up.
I mean, these flashbangs we're seeing, they had a couple for long as well, Na'Vi, from some slightly unusual positions, and TSM actually had some on their CT side as well that we don't see every day. So very good stuff so far. The flashbang game seems to be stepping up here. I think that flashbang actually hit both players, even though the stair player probably was only flashed for like a brief second. It was enough.
Yeah, it was fantastic work by Zeus. Device steps in and picks up one, but they're going to be hunting, closing in on him, nowhere to hide. It's going to come down to Xyp9x now to hold on to the Soul Rifle. If he can manage it, that would be huge. Because one save and they should be able to get something out of it, but C's is going to close in, and there really isn't going to be much joy for TSM in this round.
That's such a nice hunt by Na'Vi as well, and they're able to do it because Zeus just beats his way up Catwalk. I mean, this is great. That one player just barely blind for just a long enough time for Zeus to get the angle, but they take no damage because of how he plays that, so they have the bodies to throw out a chase, and they eliminate everyone, and now the money is so incredibly low. This is TSM on a situation where losing this, and they have to save already.
And that's not going to be, I mean, obviously that is not part of the plan. I'm wondering if they got a little caught off guard by how aggressive Zeus was as well. Or so early on in the round by Na'Vi standards, right? It wasn't happening around 45 seconds. No, Zeus was pushing up there with like a minute 15 left in the round. So maybe just a little bit of a surprise there for TSM. But again, Na'Vi, they slow down this pace at the beginning. No early aggression anywhere on the map. Just letting Guardian again see if he can't find something here with the AWP and putting just a little bit of pressure in mid.
And I love to see Guardian versus Cajun up in this bomb site, because Cajun's actually very good at holding the A bomb site. He's got sort of a bit of a speciality. I've seen him do some really good shots, and could be interesting. Guardian, on the other hand, has moved down to middle just a little bit. We're crossing past the minute mark now, as TSM trying to see if they can avoid ecoing here if they just win this one round.
There's no mid control though, so Na'Vi can just very quietly walk out. And now they can execute the smoke lately. Guardian, you're even giving a shot into the B tunnels, or the B site, but he doesn't find anything quite yet.
But they're going to move very close here. Edward taking the fight. Device actually coming out on top, and Device getting a second kill finally. Guardian with a bit of reply, but look at that triple kill from Device, and now Flamey going to be alone. He hits a great headshot though, and still going to be in a 1 versus 3, and the clock here working quite heavily against him as well. 25 seconds now. He's going to have to go a lot faster than this, and I'm not sure if he's realizing the bomb is right out there. If you win the first fight, maybe it's possible. Flamey, what on earth is going on? He's going to get both the kills, comes back into it, strike, and almost gets the last kill. It's so close. Kerrigan down to 19 health. What a shocking play from Flamey.
Holy hell. This one right here is just amazing. The one onto Xyp9x, yes, but the fact that Cajun is just sitting there with the AWP and he gets caught sleeping somehow, that's mind-blowing that Flamey got that close to pulling that off.
And those kills are so crucial, because now TSM, they don't have any save. They don't save very many rifles into the next round, so they have to buy up some of the FAMASs. They're light on utility, and Na'Vi, it allows them to force buy into the situation, knowing that the economy is so incredibly damaged from TSM. So this buy, they're just going to put the economic pressure on.
Again, fairly standard fare so far between both of these teams. Again, Na'Vi just early presence in upper dark, move into mid. They still have a man waiting over it long, but it does seem like this time around they're going to try and change up the pace. They're going for that A split, or at least setting up for an initial push out here over at long.
I've got to imagine as well that seeing your teammate do something like that, you know, gets the whole team fired up. You know, you realize we can do this. You know, we've got it.
Should be a deep flash coming in here from Seized. And he should be setting it up for this man. Kerrigan's in a bit of an awkward spot. He can still fall back in a pit, but he chooses to hold up close instead. So is he going to find that angle? Is he going to have that element of surprise? Cajun is here to support as well. Cajun trying to be a little bit careful here. Does not want to overcommit. We lose Kerrigan right off the bat, and Seized with a double entry frag, clearing out long. Xyp9x is going to be the man holding up close in element, but he's losing teammates left and right.
very poor coordination with the defense here for TSM. I mean, they should have been able to set up crossfire down on long, and instead they end up sort of almost fading each other out a little bit there. That was definitely not how that defense is supposed to be working, and it happens every once in a while if there is a player on long and nobody in A-bombs like us. That long player is going to be, you know, stuck between actually peeking long house and catwalk.
Interesting. We just saw Cajun. I don't know if he missed his key there, but he wrote in all chat that I couldn't help you. So maybe Kerrigan saying, you know, where were you, Cajun? You saw Cajun dancing on the edge there, so I'm thinking Kerrigan definitely thought that his teammate was going to be there for him.
Yeah, just missed the timing. Cajun was trying to juggle both, trying to do a little bit too much, trying to help at the A-bomb side and towards long, and he misjudged the timing. So that, I mean, they lose that round. You always have to prioritize long in that situation, because once you lose long, no matter how many defenders you have in the A-bomb side, they're going to get getting pinched. It's just a really tough spot to be in.
Especially with that cap plant as well. I mean, it gets really difficult. But TSM right now, just on a Nico. They have invested a little bit in pistols, but that's the extent of it.
So once again, the work that Flamey did earlier that you were talking about, it comes into play in full effect now as TSM doesn't have the money for it, and Seized is going to be taking down Device. Sipnix and Dupree left here. UMP shooting away. It's not every day we get to see Guardian with the UMP. Doesn't get the kill either, but it's Na'Vi just really close to equalizing the score here. And I've got to say, they look really fired up right now. You can tell they're very motivated.
Yeah, and it's good to see also that round from Flamey and even the round from Zeus. You're starting to see there's some other players showing up right now, so not all the pressure is on Guardian. It's 4-3. They're in a good spot. It's going to be a double save from TSM, and this might be something where they switch into a double op setup because now they're going to have the money if they choose to go that route.
I was curious to see if they were going to go for any kind of up and close shenanigans on TSM side, seeing as how it is that double eco scenario. Looks like Zipnix got tagged a little bit, holding on that angle, maybe a little bit of nade damage. But Na'Vi, they aren't rushing into any kind of trap. They're really taking their time, making sure that they don't throw these rifles away, don't give TSM a way of getting into the round. That's the important bit here. They have the advantage. And again, get control of long. Try and make use of those rifles up against the P250s.
Edward just going to be walking in and taking that kill. Warrior at the B-bomb site. Flamey ends up going down. Device and Dupree, you know, basic coordinated timing there, but doing the double peek and making it work, so pretty good job there. Sipnix is going to be close, and this is going to be one-shot range more or less with the P250. If he just lets them get a little bit closer, he should be in a pretty grand position for it. There's the one-shot on Edward going down. He's trying for a bit more, but Zeus is going to best him in. It's going to be up to Device now. 1 versus 3. C-set in hand. He's only got about 18 bullets. He's going to instantly shut down Seized. Just what the hell is going on?
And now he's got an M4 to work with and a couple of nades. He's going to go for that cat smoke? Interesting choice, and the Molotov is going to stop him from actually pushing in here, but still, this should not be a situation that Na'Vi can lose, and yeah, with the aim punch, no chance for him to actually take that fight with Zeus. As soon as Zeus lands the first bullet, it's done. One thing to note as well is that Cajun was really pushing aggressive straight up mid. He was looking to get that flank very quickly in behind Na'Vi at Longhouse, but Seized, these are details that are so important. The fact that Seized is not going to push with this team, he makes sure that even if it's a quick one, he's going to be in position for a backstab and to parry that backstab. That was a very good detail there for Na'Vi to remember.
And look at Na'Vi just rushing right down mid. They want to get aggressive. There's no presence. Device is in the smoke. He's going to get found out. Once again, not expecting this fast pace out of Na'Vi. He gets caught off guard. Now the B bomb site is in so much trouble. One member here. Zeus jumps through. Dupree finds it, but he's already got Flamey behind him.
Yeah, just no time for him to react. And now they're going to be able to get control of this B site. 4 players alive here for Na'Vi. Everybody in the site as well. And once again, TSM find themselves in a situation where they're going to have to save their rifles. They aren't even going to attempt retaking this site.
Not an everyday occurrence that we see now with this much pace on them on the terrorist side. Usually such a slow team pretty much across any map. That's going to catch TSM just a little bit off guard as well. The fact that suddenly they're very fast. They push, you know, before the minute mark even. And yeah, they just had no real reply. I mean, is there anything Dupree could do at that point? Once his mate in middle goes down, I mean, he's alone like that. He's trying to hide in the smoke a bit. Could he have played it better at all?
I mean, not really. There's not much you can do. Also, that smoke, sometimes you'll see that member try and push into the B tunnels behind the smoke, but that smoke was so shallow towards the B bomb site. It's like you'd have to push all the way through it, and then once again, you're at the mercy of anyone waiting on the other side. So he really didn't have any kind of advantage in that. He just had to hope for a miracle. Fortunately, it doesn't go his way. He gets 1 kill, but just can't hold out long enough.
Yeah, and Device, yeah, I think it really is Device. The fact that Flamey just chugged right through those mid doors and just landed right on top of him.
I mean, we're seeing, too, there's not a lot of mid-pressure being put on by TSM. They switch things up here. I mean, this is the response. They have a 2-1-2 now, so that gives 3 players to lean over towards the B bomb site. And one guy might cheat in towards CT spawn, but, I mean, this whole match, basically, TSM's had 3 at long.
Well, perhaps sensing this, I mean, Na'Vi, they aren't really pushing anywhere aggressive either. They go right back to their default once again. And so this is really going to keep TSM guessing. TSM trying to set up for the anti-rush. All of a sudden, there's no rush. Okay, it's back to default. What do we, you know, just so long as they can keep TSM off balance here, Na'Vi, they have a strong shot at picking up this first map.
And now the Zeus is checking Catwalk and realizing there's not going to be any kind of a presence there. I mean, if they push Catwalk right now on A bomb site, Device is going to be alone. And again, Sipnix will be in this weird position where he has to choose between Longhouse and A bomb site. And we'll see if they're going to do better this time. Last time, Cajun couldn't quite hit him up, so they've actually switched up their defense, as you can tell now. And we'll see if it's going to be better. Karrigan and Sipnix really need to work together down on Long for this to work out.
And the Cajun isn't there with the AWP. That's the big thing to note here. So that one-shot kill sort of stopping potential just isn't there for TSM. It is going to be so important for Device to just stay alive as long as possible. Karrigan as well, and Karrigan gets the instant dink onto Edward. At least he trades 1-for-1. Zipnix takes out Seized as well. So 2 quick kills coming in here for TSM, and still Karrigan stays alive. This is keeping Flamey pinned down. He can't get there to get that crossfire going in with his mates going onto the site. And right now, things are going fairly well for TSM, although Zeus does succeed in taking out Zipnix. Device is there to remove him as well, and this is a solid situation now for TSM. They've got control of the site.
That time it goes perfectly for TSM. You could see Zipnix really prioritized Long. He helps his buddy out to get those 2 kills. That forces Flamey to be more passive, and then he can rotate back towards A to help. All the A player has to do in that situation, if he's comfortable because nothing's coming from Long, he just has to stay alive as long as possible. And then you see the rest of the backup come in with a quick flank through the B tunnels.
Yeah, and the Catwalk push that comes in from Na'Vi is very ineffective once the Long is no longer a threat. You can just tell no pressure at all on TSM. They could just wait it out. Now they've gone for a double-up setup, and Device, they're gonna step it up and shut down Guardian. And you know that something that Guardian is not gonna take lightly. He's gonna wanna get right back in the mix as soon as he can because, yeah, I don't think he's gonna take that challenge too lightly.
No, that's going to upset him very much. See him get a little bit aggressive maybe that last time. I mean, that in itself was a little bit careless, just coming through Suicide that early on in the round. And now look, I mean, there's Device and Zipnix. They're both in mid. So they're saying no more mid control for you guys. We're going to switch things up. If you want to go up Catwalk, they got to use a lot of utility to do it.
That is a big switch, though, coming out of TSM, having somebody working around mid like that early on. You know, Na'Vi haven't really seen that yet with the AWP at least. So Guardian, he's going to get put on notice a little bit. You're right. And well, Na'Vi, they seem to want to try and get control of mid again. Zeus once again up on Catwalk, looking to see if he can't find a pick. And well, now there are still options open for Na'Vi. They can kind of take this wherever they want because TSM have just opened everything up, saying, okay, come at us, boys. That's it.
Well, Dupree's right outside B, and again, if he goes down, that's going to leave 1 person inside. That'll be Device at the back plateau. That'll be a very hard position to hold. So Dupree, kind of wish he'd try and play this safe, although it looks like they're going to go Catwalk instead. Look at the clock here, classic Na'Vi time. It's 23 seconds as they rush up Catwalk, try and get close to the bomb site, and TSM, they know it, they see it coming. Cajun with the perfect position for the AWP. Sipnix going to hit the 1 headshot. Cajun, easy shot, and Na'Vi, they're getting wrecked at the bomb site. It's just Flamey left. You know, 1 versus 4 here with 7 seconds left, doesn't have the bomb, and actually, he kind of needs to die here, otherwise they're going to kill him after the clock runs out. He gets a headshot on Karrigan, but this might actually backfire quite heavily. He's trying to stay alive up here. That clock's still ticking. He's going to get a kill and survive. Very well done from Flamey. That could have been horrible.
He's playing well, but this is just Guardian getting dropped right from the start. Nicely done from the double-off setup, but now Na'Vi spotted it out. And actually, they paused, so maybe, yeah, timeout. This is very, very early on, so maybe they want to come up with some kind of plan. They know if this double-op setup gets rolling, if they start building up bank at the TSM side, and they can rebuy both of these AWPs, that can be trouble, and that might just lead to a 10-5.
Mose, I know you hate it when people ask how many rounds do they need, so I'm going to ask you, how many rounds do they need on the T side?
Thank you for that. They're going to, I mean, here's the thing, TSM, it's kind of scary because they're up 6-5 right now, and the CT side, it's not, I don't want to call it weak, but it is generally their weaker side. Their terror side on Dust 2 is incredible. So the fact that TSM's ahead right now is not good, and that might be why Na'Vi is calling this pause pretty early on in this match, and with a pretty close scoreline. They're just saying, we need more rounds, guys. This is a crucial round, because if we lose this, we save. If they lose this, I mean, they might be forced into a save, especially with 2 op setup.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, they're really looking at the money right now. There's only one guy sitting with 3,000 on TSM. That's Dupree. The rest of them are all floating around $1,000. That's not good enough. That's why I really appreciate Na'Vi's timing here with this timeout. They're going to really be able to just slam TSM here, and if it goes right, they can reset the economy and completely take control of the half.
What do you guys make of the fact that it's Sipnix who's on top with 14 kills and Dupree at the bottom with 2 kills? On this map, I always think of Device and Dupree as like the rifle duo that works so well, but Sipnix is stepping it up.
He's been very mobile. We've seen him along, we've seen him towards mid. He's just helping everyone out on these executes when they do come in. Dupree, on the other hand, we've seen him as the one who's getting beat up when Na'Vi does do those B splits. He's the one who's left all alone.
No, that's it. I mean, and Guardian as well. I mean, Anders, you were just pointing at it, but he's only sitting on 3 frags. So kind of the expected players, the players that we expect to see sit at the top. That's just not the case right now. And again, Xyp9x is going to be the first man in. He's got Kerrigan here to help him, but Guardian is already scoped up and he gets the timing right. We cursed him, boys. Xyp9x is gone.
Yeah. Maybe he was, listening in and he was triggered by that, 3 kills, is that what I have? All right,
time to wake up.
Probably got triggered from getting picked off by Device a few rounds back when it dropped down to the dark tunnel.
I mean, Guardian is one of those players where he's just so much fun to watch when he starts getting pissed off, because he just gets like this terrier pit bull, I don't know. He just starts running all over the place looking for frags, looking for somebody to latch onto. So we'll see if he can start taking off here. They are going to just be pushing out onto long now for Na'Vi, so they've got control of this situation.
Yeah, but because of this pick by Guardian, look at the change in how TSM plays this. They can't have a crossfire long, so as soon as those smokes come out, cajunB evacuates. And now they get aggressive on Catwalk. They have 2 players pinching on, one down in mid, 1 on Catwalk, just to take that part over. They can concentrate more so on long now with an AWP because they have that cat control completely.
Well, we've been theorizing a little bit here, but it seems like maybe they have awoken the beast that is Guardian. He's got 2 kills already, does get shot down by cajunB. Looking for another shot here is Cajun, and a quick flip there is going to be taking down Edward, trying to cross Zeus, but he drops the bomb in the middle of the cross, and Flamey coming up from Catwalk. Great shot there. Cajun going to be alone, 1 versus 2, but they are both a little bit out of position. Molotov's going to be in there. Cajun gets the 1 shot. Oh, that's dangerous. He falls back behind the box and goes for it. Flamey hits the headshot. What a play. Flamey, once again, he's just saving Na'Vi round after round.
What a critical shot to hit for Flamey, because TSM managed that so well in this situation, and they bring it back in the 3-on-4, 3-on-5 even, because they picked Guardian off, but I mean, Cajun gets away with 1 here, but Flamey not going to let that happen twice.
A crazy shot. And you would think maybe, that all comes down to feeling, right? Cajun is just thinking, I've got this locked down, but the time was starting to run out on Flamey as well. If he can just kind of try and put more pressure on him, that might have gone a different way, but it is going to result in a force buy coming out from TSM now. They actually just have the money to go for just a couple of rifles and a scout. I mean, it really isn't a whole lot to work with here. This kind of shows you just how much pressure on TSM are under.
It's the same situation that Na'Vi had earlier, where they get it down to 1 Na'Vi player surviving, so they force by here because they know it'll force an eco, and at the end of the half, they might just be able to win out with that.
Well, we're going to find out here. Still more than a minute left. And they're trying to see if they can sneak along. Kerrigan is very much alone here, and it's going to be so tricky for him as well. He's just got a pistol. If he can trade a kill, that'll be great. They're checking it as well. Guardian, instant headshot, and that's going to unleash a bit of a landslide towards the A-bomb site. And look at this, C's stepping it up, the Russian player, dropping Cajun and Xyp9x, and it's going to be up to Device and Dupree. I mean, all they can do right now is try and save what they've got. Maybe try and see if they can trade for an AK, which is what Device has done so far. But solid entrance.
Yeah, they haven't had much luck saving, though. And yeah, just as I say it, Edward finds Device out in the open. Now it's going to be down to Dupree with this FAMAS 1v4, and they're already just spread out looking for him. He's not going to have anywhere to hide. He's just been spotted as well. Edward will go down and nearly takes out Zeus as well. Dupree, at least, fighting to stay alive at this point. He will be able to fall back, but there's already a man waiting. Guardian's holding that line from T-Spawn, so Dupree has nowhere to go. He has to stay put.
Oh, and he's getting crunched.
Yeah, there's no way.
No fun for Dupree, and going to walk right into Zeus, who he does dink earlier, but doesn't even matter.
So, nearing the end of the first half here, actually Na'Vi overtaking the scoreboard and making it 7-6 in their own favor. Even stealing the UMP Edward, because he knows they're not going to have anything. So I hope Edward's going to go ham in this round and just try and see if he can get as many kills with this SMG.
Why not? Build up the bank. It's going to be Guardian who gets the first action, though, and he lines him up, but he doesn't get any kills.
You call him out. He gets 1 in the end. Zeus with 2, HE as well. And man, just like Device and Dupree, they've got to be so frustrated right now because Na'Vi just keep going to A site. They've only gone to B site a couple of times. They just can't get any action. It's always going into a disadvantageous situation for them. So no wonder that we're seeing Dupree set at the bottom of the scoreboard.
I know I've been pointing this out before, but if anybody ever wants to sort of have a little bit of homework, then go back and watch. Find every demo you can of Flamey spraying, and where he has multiple targets. He has like a really incredible ability to always focus on killing one person and then making sure that person's dead before he moves on. He never gets like, that flick going on where he's sort of switching between targets and never really finishing anybody off. He's just a very consistent player in that sense. It's a very small detail, but it's a sign of high quality in my opinion.
Well, talk about crunch time. 15th round here of the first half. They do manage to cobble together a buy here, TSM, but they're so limited on nades. They have 2 smokes and a decoy, and we're only at a minute 20 left in this round. So Na'Vi, they have all the time in the world. They have every advantage. It's just going to come down to the shots. Trying to bait some kind of response there from Device in mid. HE goes sailing in as well, and Device has to be worried about that, seeing as how he doesn't have Kevlar. This is a glass cannon, but hey, he'll land a shot anyway. Zeus is gone, and Dupree took out Flamey as well.
Well, it's one hell of an opening. Double kill there coming in from the TSM side. Flamey and Zeus already gone down to 55 seconds. And right now, Na'Vi needs some sort of opening back in. And I mean, there's almost no better player to do it than Guardian, but he's not really going to get a chance, it seems, as Device takes down a second player trying to sneak into the middle here. He just desperately wants somebody to peek him to set off that landslide in his favor, but they're not giving him very many targets at the moment.
This is so nice at the end of the half here. And I mean, there's really not many options over there. There's Guardian, he finds one. Device didn't see him, and Edward on Catwalk, he can find one, but he loses that battle, so it's going to be all on to Guardian. They had a lot of success on Catwalk throughout this half. I mean, that's the thing. You mentioned Device and Dupree had to have been a little bit frustrated, but I mean, it's just been Na'Vi players beasting up Catwalk.
Yeah, they just keep powering through. But this time around, Cajun will be waiting. A little bit of frustration there, perhaps, for Guardian, but still 8 rounds for Na'Vi at the end of that T side. It still feels like anybody's game here.
I would say this was a very carefully calibrated first half from both teams. You can tell they knew exactly what the other team was going to do almost all of the time. Some really good calls coming out. I mean, this looked like two teams that had studied each other quite a bit.
Well, you could see, I think actually there's only a couple times that TSM got caught off guard. They were the ones who were throwing the Ren Shadows, that fast-paced mid just rush, not even a push, just full-blown, and they weren't expecting that. There was one other round they did that, but yeah, outside of those 2 times, I mean, they knew exactly what they were looking at each and every round.
And look at this aggressive push coming up. Catwalk into middle. Guardian actually slowing down, and that's generally dangerous. Now they're going to come through lower dark as well. Edward and Guardian here, and they actually will fall back. They've got 3 people on the A-bomb side, and seized with a strafing headshot on Device. Going for a second one here with the USP. It's going to get flashed out of position, and Guardian coming back into it, fighting 3 members. Hits a headshot. Zeus is there. Oh, he gets team killed, and Edward gets 2 kills. What is going on? Sipnix, last man left, but he's got so much to do. 1 versus 4, and he's going to get down by Siege. What a pistol round, and what an absolute mayhem happening up at Catwalk.
Once TSM was committed to that cat hit, all of Na'Vi just zoned in on that position. You could see them swarm from across the map to get in on the action. And there was nothing TSM could do from there. And now we do see a bit of an investment. This time it's 3 Deagles out of the TSM team, and it's Dupree with the only full armor on the squad. No nades purchased up.
Kerrigan, no Kevlar either. So very minimal investments. At least gets forced out of Longhouse. Yeah, that kind of speaks of, again, you know, Andrews, you're talking about 2 teams that are prepared for each other. That kind of speaks of, okay, Na'Vi knew exactly what was going on. As soon as they spotted some of the details, they knew what to expect, and they wanted to get in on it. But again, bit of a respect buy coming out from Na'Vi. Only a single UMP picked up, a single SMG. The rest of them going for rifles. They really don't want to fall for any kind of force buy. And if the fight comes down to a long-range one like that, they want to rely on the rifles to get the job done. Guardian will take out one, and then Zeus, Guardian, everybody getting in on it. They just completely collapse on the A site once again, Na'Vi.
I think Kerrigan accidentally purchased one of my Deagles that round. That's exactly what it's like for me to Deagle. I'm 100% sure I'm going to hit the next couple of shots, and then nothing at all happens.
Not very much damage dealt, but actually, I mean, there were a lot of players who didn't invest too much in that round for TSM. And you talked about Guardian in the last half managing economy, so we could have an AWP into the first gun round because of what he bought on the ecos. Kerrigan's the one who's sitting up at 3,000, and Edward still aggressive from Na'Vi, but he's missing everything. He's getting caught out in the open.
Yeah, that was a little ugly, but then C's is there to bank up for it, and Zeus on Cat. He's going to get a couple of frags himself. And it's just going to be down to Zipnix. He's got that P250, seeing as how he got a kill in the last round. Easy to make that investment. He basically breaks even.
Actually, pretty cool from Na'Vi there with Edward. He had the SMG, so they're just like, go rush. You're gonna, if you lose the gun, you're gonna upgrade the next round anyways. So see if you can build up a little bit more bank. We're gonna have your back to mow him down if you do fall.
Well, now things are going to get interesting. It's only a 4-round difference here. Kerrigan with the AWP on the one side, and Guardian on the other side, obviously, with the AWP as well. And in the middle, they're going to try and cross through. They're so dangerous. C's getting spotted. What kind of position he's got himself into? He's got the FAMAS as well, and he goes down immediately. I'm wondering, there was not even any support from Catwalk here. That was a crazy play.
Yeah, that's just kind of like the random play that I guess he's just felt like he had to go for to try and catch TSM off guard in this key round. But now Na'Vi, they're a bit behind. They're light on the nades as well, so it isn't going to get any easier for him here. With so much time, TSM, they can really just apply the pressure, group up, and crash onto a site. It's going to come down to Na'Vi to take a risk, and Edward is pushing up onto Cat, so he's hoping to make something happen here. He wants to catch somebody setting up with a nade, perhaps. Whereas Guardian in mid gets the shot, wall bang onto Dupree.
And there we go, but there's nobody here to support Edward. Nobody to flash him in or anything. He's still going to win that fight against Device. So far, they didn't expect a grenade into lower dark, and Carrigan gets tagged up a tiny bit. Flamey in this speed bomb side is going to be instrumental. He's going to have to get at least 1 kill and preferably stay alive. Cajun is in there, and that's going to be it. Flamey solid on the defense as well. Zeus going to show up, and that drops the bomb. And well, Sipnik's last man left. He's going to get the 1 kill with the AK, but 30 seconds left. The rotation is going to be coming in here, and it's looking almost undoable here. He's going to go down to Flamey. And Flamey's had a solid game so far. He's got 14 kills, but I feel like it's been some high-impact frags from his point of view.
Yeah, they really have been. And that round, he did it with a little bit of patience. He actually could see him inching over towards peeking, spotting a little bit out, but he's waiting to commit to a fight until Zeus gets into the B bomb site. So, I mean, we saw C's get a little bit hectic there in lower B. Oh, Guardian, he just starts things off again. It is a save round from TSM. They do buy up some upgraded pistols, but getting aggressive now, getting into Guardian mode.
Yeah, that's where exactly. Guardian's going to start feeling the comfort. What you got to admire when you look at the scoreboard is just the fact that everybody's in double digits for Na'Vi. They're pretty close. It isn't just one guy doing a lot of the work. Everybody's getting a piece of the action. TSM definitely a bit top heavy with Zipnik still in the lead. So this is just going to be the straight up YOLO rush onto the A site. If they can get a cat plant, that would be fantastic. Or a headshot, that works. Dupree doing his job as that entry fragger. Great flash, and they don't really follow up on it too much, although I speak too soon. Zeus and Edward going to work, and it's going to be Cajun B, the last man alive here for TSM. He gets another headshot. He's making it expensive, and do you think he can actually pull off another? He's still here.
I can't get the readout off, obviously. Getting fat from Catwalk there. I mean, that's a scary fight for Seized. One more body shot, and he would have been gone, and who knows what could have happened. The fact is, right now, 3 more rounds for Na'Vi, and they're going to take the first map away here at the Grand Finals.
Yeah, you mentioned it, making it expensive, but at this late, you know, those little cool moral victories aren't enough anymore. You have to start putting rounds on the board, and trade, Guardian, Carrigan.
And an all-out battle in the middle.
Yeah, that actually might favor TSM, though, because Guardian's the one who gets taken out.
Well, you lose Device as well. Tough decision.
Tough decisions.
Yeah, the best players, two of the best players in the world traded out. All right.
Might come down to personal taste with who lost the bigger player there. Well, Flamey going to make the cross back over. They still have a pretty big mid presence here for Na'Vi. Seized and Zeus and Edward very much alone down on long. Seized with a big opening shot there, taking down Carrigan and re-smoking the middle. And plenty of time here, and look at this boost up here, and it's meant to counter some sort of B split if it ever comes out. It's a very strong position for Zeus to be in.
Yeah, very much slowed down from TSM now in this 3-on-4. They have complete mid control, but Na'Vi set up, Edward can get a quick flank if he decides to. C's is opping it at the A rail. This is going to be tough for TSM to work with. They have a couple smokes and a Molotov, but they got to be very, very careful. They can't take too many losses in this bomb site.
No, absolutely not. They're going to try and do the best they can, though. They have a Molotov for the site. Seized, not going to be affected by that, though. He does crouch under, but a great flick under Dupree to pick off the first man, and he knows somebody's at Gandalf as well. Walks right into his crosshairs, Zipnik, and Seized, he's just locking it down here on the A site. Gets the shot through the box. Or was that him? Maybe missed it, because it looked like Edward and Zeus went to town there on the last man, but regardless, Na'Vi up on 14 rounds.
You hear the crowd in the background chanting TSM. They definitely had some support here in San Jose, but right now, I mean, they're going to require a hell of a lot of support. They're 2 rounds away from giving up the first map. There's Device shutting down Seized, who did so well last round, and that is the kind of start that they're looking for. Guardian over at long with that AWP, and you can tell that he's focused in now. Grenading and running forward. Not a lot of bot players will do this, but Guardian, he's kind of in a category all of his own when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
Look at the pressure from TSM down mid, though. They're already at catwalk, and with all the defense over towards long, down a player as well, they're spread thin.
They don't decide to back up on it. I did like the adjustment made by Flamey as well. He got real close to upper dark in case TSM tried to rush in. I mean, it's just this dance right now between both of these teams, but TSM look like they want to go in group. They want to group up, it seems. They have that man advantage right now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, they have man advantage. They can afford to make some trades. They just have to choose a bomb site. They can't get picked off by these ops.
Yeah, they need to stop slowing it down. They're going to try and go for some sneaky play. Actually, Dupree straight into CT, and he gets a headshot on a Guardian. No impact there for the Opper. And it's going to come down to Edward now. He's stuck at long. He's not going to find any joy either. Nobody is going to be there to greet him. It's going to come down to whether Na'Vi can actually get another parting kill here to make it at least a little bit expensive for TSM.
Yeah, I mean, with such a big lead, saving the rifles definitely makes a lot of sense. Zeus is up here, and he's going to get a bit of a flick shot in there on Dupree, so 1 man down.
And you can see there's not a lot of money in the TSM side to go for this chase. They're going to gladly take that kill from Edward, but committing more bodies. They have 2 ops. They don't want to lose those weapons, obviously, and they don't even want to have to rebuy or redrop any AKs. So just going to be happy with what they've got, the round win. They've got to be very careful moving forward. They don't have many more mistakes they can give up.
No, that's for sure. I mean, it has to be a perfect round here, unless they want to give up overtime, basically. It has to be a perfect. Interesting to see that they want to go for the double op as well. That usually, speaks to slower styles of play. But if Device can keep delivering opening frags like that, give them the man advantage. Dupree with that rifle, that was just a brilliant entry onto Guardian.
That's a really nice switch up of that drop off catwalk. So instead of dropping off catwalk, he just jumps through 2 smokes in mid, and it's the least expected route for that Opera to have to take care of.
Looks like, speaking of catwalk, we've got Guardian playing up here, and he is sort of semi-aggressive, not going to move all the way into the middle. He wouldn't have too much backup either if something went wrong. Fairly common setup here for Na'Vi. Otherwise, I think Zeus is going to be close as well if anything does go wrong.
He does have some support. He just isn't really getting any targets just yet. Seems like they're finally going to start looking at it, and Device is... He was inching his way close. He might actually still get this Guardian, and there it is. Easy shot for him. Picks off Device, who was looking the wrong way, and there's the man advantage for Na'Vi in this critical round for TSM.
How many different spots have we seen Guardian play in this half? That's another switch up that TSM wasn't prepared for.
He is definitely one of the most versatile operators in the scene. As far as just like where he can go on the map, he will make those kinds of decisions to change things up constantly.
They're running out right now, TSM. They've got to go big, and instead C's going to shut him down. Another flick shot drops Sipnix, and it's going to be Cajun now walking in. And Flamey, well, that's an easy shot for him. Wow, that last flick from C's was so quick, and it's going to be 22 kills on him as well. Carrying Na'Vi right now, 15-8. It is map point favoring Na'Vi, and I mean, I would say right now in a very impressive fashion. We're talking about potentially one of the best teams in the world at Dust 2 right now, and they're getting smacked.
That might have been the killing blow there by C's, that triple kill. Look at this buy. 3 Tech 9s and Zeus with the help from Guardian. He's going to get that kill with a grenade.
Well, that's agony for Zipnix. Double HE walks right into it, and now, well, Device, he's going with the big headshot. Edward is within lethal range, but now he manages to sneak his way back to pit. It's going to be a bit more difficult here for Device. TSM in the meantime still kind of gathered up in mid, looking to see if they can't find something there, but the smoke goes down to block them off. And really, they're just kind of left wondering, where can we go on this map that we aren't going to get bodied?
I'm surprised I haven't seen too much of TSM trying to take long. I mean, that's sometimes has been their bread and butter on this map. A lot of their focus has been having this mid control and what can they get going up cat and pressuring mid. There's a nice find from Cajun beyond to Zeus.
That's what they need right now. Seized in the middle once again. The smoke goes up for the B split, but there's not going to be one with all these Molotovs in the middle. Flamey going to drop down to Dupree, and things are looking very bad indeed. Cajun finally going to get a shot. Edward now controlling the middle, so they know exactly what's going on. Flamey going to peek in and might actually overextend. Yeah, he will. Carrigan going to take him out. He could have just waited up there for teammates to come in. Edward going to walk right in, and Dupree will drop him down, I think. Na'Vi getting a bit careless in this round. Well, Guardian, he's not even going to get the chance.
Yeah, he has to back off and save this AWP. This is the right call to make. So close, and Flamey just misreading the situation. When Seized got caught, I'm wondering what kind of communication was given there by Seized. Did he say that he saw more people? Is that why Flamey, after getting that first kill, think, okay, now I can actually go there and try and support or at least refrag with my mate? I don't think he was expecting more people to be coming out of Upper Dark like that.
I think he was coming out of B to try and help for a mid B split. He gets that 1 kill. He doesn't see very much more pressure coming, but instead TSM just throw it right back at him. A little bit of a delayed B take, and yeah, it was just an overextension peeking into that bomb site, and they were just too wide of an angle for him to be prepared for. So TSM buys a little bit of life here, just one small window of opportunity still to play with.
Yeah, that's the main thing, right? You might get those jitters once you start seeing the finish line in this first map. That strong start, maybe Flamey didn't stop to think for a second there.
I mean, show of hands right now. 6 rounds in a row, who believes? No hands at the castle desk, I can tell you. No belief at all for the TSM team here. It's going to be really rough indeed. Looks like they're going to try and go quick into the speed bombs. Like Flamey's here. Instant headshot. Device wrecking him. Dupree going to go down next and sees. Well, he's firing back. Double AWP kill. He's finally going to go down with the grenade. So trying to sneak through. Not going to make it work. Now it's 2 versus 3. And Guardian trying to see if he can look for the angle. He spots someone down there. And Sipnix is very low on health. Got to be careful here. If they are going to get 1 grenade on him, that might just be it. But Edward and Guardian, they're going to try and back off here.
Yeah, they salvaged the second op, and that's the call, because now TSM, they might be thinking this retake's coming in at any moment, so they're going to be a little bit delayed on their peak. They're still blocking off the choke points. So Na'Vi, I mean, they're going to lose this round, but they get away with 2 ops. They can have a pretty solid situation going forward.
Okay, let me ask this. How hard is it when you're at 15-9 to call a rush into B if you're Carrigan here? That can't be an easy call to tell your team. Let's just try and rush B.
I actually think it's a pretty easy call when you're at 15-9.
YOLO.
I think so.
You've just given up all hope at this point and say, all right.
I mean,
what Sean nodding his head.
I mean, like, what's more ridiculous is just like Device comes out of smoke and just insta-gives the man holding on that site.
Let me put it like this. If I was on that team and my leader's going to tell me, how about we just rush B at this point, I'd be like, what? You said what?
This is why we don't play matchmatching together, Anders.
Yeah, probably.
I'd make that call.
But besides, I'd be the leader, obviously. Well, this Carrigan shutting down, seized in another round here. Maybe those 6 in a row are going to be possible after all here. Guardian has got the AWP back, and he might just be tired of getting killed here. And you know what happens when you unleash Guardian. It's very bad things, a lot of dead people involved. Grenade down the middle here, and Zeus is going to get that kill on Dupree. Nicely done.
It's really incredible how Navi's finding a lot of these equalizers, even when they get picked. You know, in the mid round, through these smokes, they're finding the damage. They're doing early damage and finding these kills to put things back into a 4-on-4. And look at the read out of them too. They have 3 members leaning over towards the B bomb site. Edward, they're putting so much faith in him, manning down the ace site and long.
And that's been the theme. Oh, what a shot from Guardian. That's kind of been the theme as well, but my God. Zeus pushing into the middle, shutting down Cage, and Edwards here. And as you said, been putting a lot of faith in him, and it's been rewarded pretty much throughout the tournament. Sipnik's now going to be alone in a 1 versus 3 to try and see if he can keep this hope alive here on Dust 2 for TSM. Otherwise, Binding will be, and I'll be taking away the first map here of the Grand Finals with a double kill for Guardian, 16-10.
For me, this still comes down to TSM having to get their heads in the game. Get their heads in the game. They're coming into this, everybody's saying, you're the favorites, you're the favorites, you're the favorites. Just like at the Major, you're the favorites to win this thing. And once I think they got caught off guard a little bit by what Na'Vi were throwing at them, that mid-push, I think, really rattled them. They're like, wait, this isn't the slow Na'Vi. Exactly, this is the rush Na'Vi. We haven't met this Na'Vi. You know, what do we do now, right? And it doesn't really seem like they're able to quite get their heads back into it.
Yeah, and a lot of mid control out of them on their T side, and that just bought so much time. I mean, you give Guardian these opportunities to find angles on catwalk, out towards long, out towards mid. He found a pick at I think every different angle in this bomb site or on this map. Yeah. I mean, when you give the ops, even when they went to a double op setup, so many chances for them if this play is going to be slow for them to find those kills.
Just very impressed. I mean, actually not the kind of Dust 2 that I was expecting. I think it was really calibrated, really well calculated from both teams, and obviously I mean, at this point in time, Na'Vi just showing that they were better prepared.
Yeah, I think that's at the element of surprise. And Starks, I think, you know, go ahead and give a little bit of nod there. The pistol side, the pistol as well for the CT side for Na'Vi, it really did seem like they had the read on what TSM were trying to do, and that was it. I think that's what really rocked TSM as well. It's just like, oh crap, you know, these guys actually, even they're in our heads. And if you're Kerrigan at that point, you know, it's like, get out of my, you know, right? Like, how do you do it, right? How do you do it? So that's, I think there's going to be a lot of talk on the TSM side, but what's the next map? If I'm not mistaken, it's Cobblestone, is it not?
I believe so.
Oh, then now really you need a miracle, TSM. You know, you're keeping us all waiting, you know, wondering, is this going to be the map that you surprise us on? They're going to need one hell of a surprise.
They have done it before.
Well,
they have done it in the past.
You know, you remember who remembers that? Olaf Meister.
Yeah. Just to analyze Cobblestone, we do have a wonderful desk full of people led by a wonderful and sexy man. It's Alex Machine Richardson. Take it away, boys.
That's what we were going to say, Sean.
Ooh, wonderful and sexy. And
you are pretty sexy.
I mean, yeah, he's my bear. That's what he is essentially in that relationship. Thank you very much, Anders, you Danish bear. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about this one, though. We've got a bit of a kind of unfortunate loss for TSM considering that second map, and I need to just remind everyone that the main discussion coming out of this one was how the hell did Cobble get through? Yeah. Now they've just slipped up on Dust 2, a map that Moses hails them as the best team in the world.
The whole thing there. We called it out at the start of the game. TSM, potentially the best Dust 2 team in the world, but they had the great start there. They got the 4-0. Then Na'Vi bouncing back out of nowhere. They bring the half to 8-7, actually win it in the end. Yeah. Just through that nice mid-control, getting through the mid doors. Fast pushes as well. It looked like TSM were just expecting the standard Na'Vi play coming in, slow pushes onto A bomb sites, A splits, etc. But they kept throwing in the fast mid pushes there, and then mixing it back up with the Guardian slow plays as well. It just seemed like TSM were trying to adapt too much and couldn't get back into it. It was really exciting series there. That second half as well. What was it, 6-0 before TSM could go around? Yeah. I think the scoreline doesn't do it justice. It felt like the game was over at that stage. TSM did well to kind of claw back into it, but for me, it was over when it got to 14 rounds.
What happened with that second half? I mean, 7-8, a pretty reasonable half from both teams, and then CT side Na'Vi just exploded, or was that more of a case of TSM kind of falling off?
It seems to me that Na'Vi, as T, had actually way more freedom to do whatever they wanted. Whereas TSM was always under pressure from Na'Vi. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 rounds where Na'Vi picked the first kill, whether it would be with Guardian, middle, or short with the AVP, very offensive, or like double nade, long, killing the guy trying to peek. Yeah, it really seems like TSM didn't really have the chance to do what they wanted to do. Na'Vi was just on point.
Sean, what are your sentiments towards that kind of sudden turn-on from Na'Vi?
Yeah, pretty much what both these guys said. The first half was an excellent display of splits on the A-bomb site from Na'Vi. They would switch it up, send 2 guys long, 3 guys long, and they would kind of pick and prod around the A site, doing typical Na'Vi things like not much grenade usage, and they would kind of draw away from the main part of the hit, and the rotator would move towards cat when they were going long, and move towards long when they were going cat, and they would just crumble around the A-bomb site. Second half, they just made some great individual plays like C's right now. Yeah, that was the third kill right there was incredible.
That was sick.
You just said typical Na'Vi plays lack of nade usage. Is that something that they're known for, like not implementing nades early?
Yeah, what a lot of teams do when they play in Na'Vi is they save their grenades, because what they're trying to do is they try to bait all your grenades out by using their own grenades. And then later on in the half, they use really methodical peeks to jiggle peek and prod and find out where you are. And then they use numbers to kind of swarm onto you and kind of trap the whole bomb site from multiple angles. They're great at doing it, and they've been doing it for years. So
that's where their kind of late pushes spawn from, is because of that, just trying to draw out your utility.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Maniac. Okay, so that brings us into Cobble. I mean, unless you have any closing thoughts on Dust 2, Henry, I see your eyebrows raising.
I'm trying to think what would really summarize this game up. Like for
me,
let's
see if you can do a dramatic summary.
No, I'm not going to do a dramatic summary. I just wanted to touch on Guardian a little bit. Obviously, we talk about him every time. But the thing is, his teammates all stepped up there. We had Flamey going huge, Zeus going huge. C's had his big moments as well. That's the performance you need to win Grand Finals. You can't rely on one player like they have in the past. Guardian, we always talk about him. He was getting 40 frags, and the other guy stepping up. Finally, in this Grand Final, the rest of the team there are with him and backing him up. And that's what will get them over the finish line in these Grand Finals. So there's your closing thought, Alex. Let's go to Cobble.
Right, look at Henry go, bring in the hype. We need to talk a little bit about Cobblestone. We have to talk about this second map, and you guys are kind of coining it as Death's Door for TSM. You've already said that the majority of you calling that this may very well go the way of Na'Vi. What needs to happen on Cobble? First of all, that maybe there's a trick up their sleeve. Why would they let this map into the pool of a grand final? $125,000 on the line if you didn't have something for Cobble.
I think they absolutely need to have presence at the A-bomb side, T side. They're going to have a lot of trouble if they can't push Guardian back. Guardian's going to be looking for picks in middle, A halls, is to really be pestering their A-bomb site hits and basically causing TSM to filter to the B site, where probably Navi's going to be playing very heavily stacked towards. So if they fail early on hitting the A site, it's over.
What's funny is the two players, two members of 2 different teams that have both played up against Na'Vi have said exactly the same thing about Cobble. Matteo earlier was just like, well, Guardian's going to play A solo, they'll stack out B. If you don't kill Guardian, you're going to have trouble. You guys have quite literally said the same thing twice. It must be a really, I mean, what can you do to counter it? What have you guys kind of come into to prepare for something like that?
You just have to have really methodical nade placements and good jiggle peeks when you go in the A halls, and you can kind of avoid getting picked in middle for the most part early. Take A halls control, use the smoke that Na'Vi uses for the end of A halls to kind of keep everything in front of you. Use Molotovs and HEs to clear the close angles, and then from there you kind of work up and force 2 people to play in the A-bomb site.
You said you had something to say, Mathieu.
Yeah, I would say one of the few solutions we found with Titan back then was to actually have a lot of pressure in the drop zone and to hope that the second guy from A would be drawn into the connector and then strike the A side where Guardian would be like alone, basically. But I just wanted to point out that this is actually very vicious to play against Na'Vi on Cobblestone, because on one hand, Guardian is like one of the best players in the world right now. You don't really want to go up against him. I mean, the logical would be like, we're going to avoid him. But if you want to win Cobblestone against them, you have to go straight to Guardian, you have to pull him back, and then you can construct on the map, develop your game. But you cannot avoid him. There's no way around, because the B side is going to be so stacked.
In my opinion, to take a team like Na'Vi down, you need to be going for more of the set pieces on this one. We saw Liquid do it earlier. They actually only ran it once, but when they did like the wall of smokes on B, for example, and they actually from 40 should get a bomb down and make it really uncomfortable with CTs, making them on the retake, that's when it seemed that they were under pressure. Now, like Guardian wasn't able to go get a pick at the start of the round. He couldn't rotate in and pick people off. There's just that smoke down, everyone's hiding. I think that kind of play is going to be important for TSM. I can't say I've watched them on this map in a long time, so I can't really comment as to what they have in their arsenal tactically, but if they can have the hybrid of working the picks, splitting bomb sites, and then chucking in the odd set piece as well, the wall of smokes, that'll be really beneficial to them.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of touched on individual performances of the Na'Vi members. Again, we're bringing up Guardian because we have to with Na'Vi. On the side of TSM, the first thing you said to me when I returned to the desk was Dupree, 6 frags.
Yeah, actually, I was pointing out that the deadliest duo ever is probably Device and Dupree. And I have to say that Dupree wasn't really here on Dust 2. I mean,
absolutely not.
He was quite not there. So the score was not that big. I think it was like 16-11, 16-10. And Dupree had only 6 frags. So if he shows up on Cobblestone, even though they probably don't have a big tactical background, if he's there, if he has the firepower with Device, that might change things.
It can be really hard to pick yourself up from that sort of situation. If you're in a grand final and you feel like you let your team down and you were the reason you weren't actually picking up rounds, it can be so hard to get yourself out of that rut. You get yourself down in the gutters. You need someone, you need a coach or your teammates to kind of pick you back up. And hopefully we can see that happen. I'd love to see this go all the way to 3 maps, but all signs are pointing to another Navi victory,
Just then quickly, Sean, Henry's kind of, has he said anything that touches quite close to home? Is there something, that kind of, that idea of you need someone else to help you get out of that rut? I know members of Cloud9 have had that same problem at various occasions.
Yeah, I think Kerrigan does a great job of really making sure everyone's on the right page, doing things that they want to do. I've had conversations with him in the past about how he convinces some of his members to take certain roles and why certain people op in certain situations. Like, a lot of people don't realize that cajunB ops A on Dust 2, Kerrigan ops all of A on Mirage, and then Device will just op A on Overpass. Like they're constantly switching up roles and doing whatever makes them comfortable. They do a great job of finding strengths within their players, and maybe they can bring that out in Cobblestone right now. It's definitely a maybe. Let's do predictions then nice and quick. Henry, you're still kind of doubting TSM here on our second map?
Just because it's Cobble. Right now, obviously, I would never count them out of a series, whatever the first map score was. But going into this one, I can only see it going one way. I'm going to say it'll get to double figures. It'll be a close game. I think it'll probably have 16-12 maybe in favor of Navi.
All right. Same thing for you, Sean, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, honestly, I don't even see it going that well for TSM. I would say 16-9 Navi.
And finally,
I'll also go for Navi, probably 16-10, something like this.
All right, looking like the desk thinks Navi are going to carry on what they started over in Cluj for the major. They got to the final. Maybe they'll go one step further here, the Intel Extreme Masters. A thank you to Plays.tv for making this event possible. 125,000 on the line, and the King's share will be going to the winner of potentially this map. Stay tuned for after the break.